Right, so our next topic is one that I've been wanting, and I think you've been wanting to speak on for a while, haven't you?
No. No. Peace. I've been interested.
Yeah. And it's finally come to a conclusion. And that topic is that Disney,
big old Disney,
has decided to settle its lawsuit with Scarlett Johansson. That Scarlett Johansson put on Disney, not the other way around.
Okay.
But Disney have decided to settle it, which basically they had no choice.
All right, so for the people that don't know, can you give them the backstory?
Right, I'll give them the backstory.
Of how we got to here.
Yeah. So basically, Scarlett Johansson obviously is the star of Black Widow. And Black Widow was released in the cinemas, but it was also released on Disney Plus as a premium streaming thing. So you had to pay a little extra on top of your subscription.
Okay.
To get to watch it on Disney Plus.
All right.
Now, when you sign a contract, especially when you're one of these big actors and you sign a contract with the studio, you normally sign a theatrical exclusive contract, which is what Scarlett Johansson signed with Disney. So basically what this means is when Black Widow is released, they are only allowed to show it in cinemas up until the theatrical window finishes, and then you can put it on streaming.
Right.
That's what that means.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, Disney broke that contract by putting it on Disney Plus for premium consumption at the same time.
At the same time.
Right.
Well, release date was the same.
Release date was the same.
Okay.
But they weren't, per the contract, they were not allowed to release it on Disney Plus at the same time as it being in cinemas.
Right.
Because on top of Scarlett Johansson getting her, as Disney went on to be very shady and told everyone that she earned 20 million up front as a salary, which they shouldn't have done, right? It was obviously tactics on their part, dirty tactics. But on top of that, she will earn a percentage of the box office profits that Disney make from the film.
Right.
So obviously, if they release it on Disney Plus as well, it cuts into her money that she could earn. So doesn't
she get the Disney Plus money?
No, because that's not part of the contract.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
Contracts are very specific. Yeah. Now, we, obviously as actors, we have both been in varying degrees involved in contracts, right? Obviously, I've been at, and this is no, I'm just stating facts, at a higher level with Venom 2's contracts, right? So I've got an idea of that. But generally speaking, even contracts to do with anything, it's the same. Obviously, I used to be a professional boxer. I'll give you an example. I used to be a professional boxer. Some of you know I got banned as a professional boxer for performance-enhancing drugs, right? Now, when I came back from my ban, I was managed at that time by Frank Warren, and Frank Warren didn't want to manage me anymore because he said
he was tarnished.
Right. So he demanded £3,000 from me to terminate the contract, and me being a thinking man and a person who reads contracts, I said to him, well, per the contract, it doesn't state that for me to terminate this contract with you, I need to give you £3,000. If you don't want to manage me anymore, then don't manage me no more. Yeah. But I'm not obligated to give you £3,000. So this went back and forth for a while. And then in the end, we had to go to the British Boxing Board of Control to arbitrate.
Okay.
And
I remember you telling me this.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
And because they held up a couple of fights for me, do you remember?
Yeah.
And they concluded that I didn't have to give the £3,000, but I had to wait out my managerial the amount of time left for him to manage me. He had to continue to be my manager, and I had to continually give him his cut, which was fine, which is what I wanted in the first place.
Yeah.
But I didn't have to give him the $3,000. Now, most people would have given him the $3,000 because it's Frank Warren, you know, but that wasn't in the contract. So it's what's in a contract is it needs to be very clear and it's legally binding. That's one thing people need to understand.
Yeah.
So going back to this Disney thing, so once this was done without Scarlett Johansson's knowledge, I might add.
Okay. They was in breach of contract.
Right. So Scarlett Johansson reached out and her agents at CAA, big agency, they reached out to Disney and said, look, let's resolve this, you know, because you broke the contract. And basically Disney fobbed her off. They basically, because they thought we're big Disney, even though it's big Scarlett Johansson, A-list star,
she's big.
They thought we're big time Disney, we can do whatever the hell we want.
Okay.
And then they started this dirty tricks campaign where they said, oh, well, we gave you 20 mil up front. You're not taking into consideration the pandemic and blah, blah, blah.
But why should she?
Right. So here's the thing, and John Campion makes a very good explanation of this. If you find one of his videos, you can get a very good explanation of this because he's an actual former lawyer.
Oh, okay.
Right? Obviously, he used to be a lawyer. Yeah.
Okay,
So he studied law.
Okay.
So he has more of an insight into this. But as someone who's dealt with contracts, I can also tell you. So if you sign a contract, the terms stated in that contract cannot be changed unless you negotiate them. So Disney trying to say, oh, well, we now have a pandemic, so things have changed. Well, according to the contract, they haven't.
Okay.
Do you see what I'm saying? So just for you guys out there, if you ever sign any contracts and something outside has changed, that doesn't matter because what the terms of the contract are the terms of the contract. And that's that. And you know, for Disney to say to Scarlett Johansson, you're not taking into consideration COVID-19. Did Disney take into consideration COVID-19 when they were launching Disney Plus and asking people to pay subscription and whatnot? They made a bag of money from the lockdowns when everyone, do you know what I mean?
When everyone was broke.
Right, exactly. Not working, but they were still expecting money. So basically, and then they outed that she earned 20 million up front, which they shouldn't have done. Which they shouldn't have done. They shouldn't have done. They were cheeky about it, and so obviously, you know. But when they did this, everyone in the know knew that it was just a dirty tricks campaign because they knew they were going to have to give her money. And at first, she was only asking for 20 mil. I say only, but
on top of her 20 mil.
On top of her 20 mil, which is what she estimated she would have made at the box office. After the Dirty Tricks campaign, Disney then asked for arbitration and asked for it to be done behind closed doors.
Right.
So it has been settled now, but someone, I think probably within the Scarlett Johansson camp, has leaked that she ended up getting around 40 mil. Because of the Dirty Tricks campaign and stuff. Yeah. So basically, that's the long and short of what's gone on. And my take on it, I'm going to ask your take on it. I just want to give my quick take on it. Is that it was very poor form for Disney to do this. It was very poor form, and this would not have happened if the old CEO Bob Iger was in charge. There's a new CEO called Bob Chapek who's in charge, and everything has been going wrong with Disney ever since this guy took over.
Okay.
And it begs the question whether he's going to be the CEO for very much longer.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
Too many calamities.
Yeah, too many to name.
Okay.
Whereas Bob Iger had a very good relationship with everyone, including the talent.
Okay.
And including Kevin Feige. Because from what I hear, Kevin Feige doesn't have a good relationship with Bob Chapek, the new guy.
Oh, okay.
So I hear also that a lot of people like me and you, everyday guys, were moaning and saying, oh, well, these rich actors, who cares? She's already got 20 mil, you know, who cares? You know, that's really by the by. What you need to really think about is she signed a legally binding contract where how much she earns is irrelevant, because you need to think about this. If she, big Scarlett Johansson, can get screwed signing a legally binding contract like that,
What happens to the little people?
What happens to your ass when you sign a legally binding contract and you're nobody and you get screwed by a company? What then? This is what people didn't really, do you know what I mean? So this is what a lot of people need to take stock of.
Yeah.
You hearing all this, and I know you've been interested in this story for a while. What do you make of all this?
Well, first of all, I don't put anything past Disney. And that comes from the original Walt Disney. And
I know.
Those who know about the original Walt Disney know about Walt Disney.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's a long time ago. I'm not going to dwell on that. But first of all, when it comes to the money, it's her money, and she's entitled to it. And if she doesn't get it, who gets it? So it's her money.
Yeah.
And you hear Black Widow and you hear Scarlett, you're like, yeah, I want to see that. Her name brought in just as much as Walt Disney brought in because she's that popular. They gave you £20 million to do a film. But there's so much more money.
Right.
The actors, think about it though. Where's the rest go?
I mean,
when everything's paid for, where does the rest go? Someone's lining up their pocket.
Obviously, Disney pocket their money. Marvel pocket their money.
Yeah.
I think that what it was also the fact that because of the pandemic, they knew they weren't going to make as much money. Because I think Black Widow ended up making just under 400 mil at the box office. But then if you add up what it made on Disney Plus as well, it probably added up to about 500 mil total. Okay. Now, in a non-pandemic year, in a normal year, Black Widow probably would have got close to $1 billion. Because it's a Marvel movie. Anything under that Marvel brand, is gangbusters. Yeah. Right? And so I think they were being quite greedy and thinking, well, we didn't make as much money as we did off of this movie.
Chuck it over there quick.
Yeah, let's not give her what she's entitled to.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think it's a shame. I think it's a damn shame that they did this,
Yeah, but it's a good thing though.
Why do you say that?
No, it's a good thing that they've been exposed.
Oh, yeah.
Because it sets a precedent.
Yeah.
Because it's probably happened before.
Probably. I
bet it has happened
right,
before.
So speaking of which, you just reminded me. So they actually did pull the same with Jungle Cruise. With The Rock.
Okay.
They pulled the same thing. If you remember, that was on Disney Plus. That came out day and date. Cinema and Disney Plus at the same time, but The Rock is too big to screw over. So you know what they did? They gave The Rock a sequel on it. Him and Emily Blunt. They got a sequel.
Yeah, there you go. Because they would have said to him, "Oh, sorry," and he go, "It doesn't matter if there's COVID-19. It doesn't matter."
Yeah. Scarlett Johansson's big, but The Rock, he's Hollywood right now. He's
Mr. Hollywood.
He's Mr. Hollywood right now. Him and I wouldn't even say Robert Downey Jr. because Robert Downey Jr. has kind of gone a bit downhill since Iron Man. The Rock is Mr. Hollywood, as you said, and you can't piss off The Rock. No. You just can't do it right now.
And his team and his gang are just too...
Right. It's just not going to happen. So they've actually said there is going to be a Jungle Cruise sequel. Okay. And that's to compensate him for bringing it out on Disney Plus the same time as it was in cinemas.
And I'm sure he will get his money for...
Of course. And Emily Blunt as well.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But that's why they didn't take any legal action.
Did you watch Jungle Cruise?
I didn't, because it just didn't interest me. Did you watch it?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. That's what I thought.
It's just good to see The Rock, like... Yeah. I'm not going to lie. Yeah. I'm a Rock fan.
Yeah, of course, I am too.
Yeah, so it's just one of
those... I'm actually an Emily Blunt fan as well.
Yeah. No, yeah. It was it's just a family nice watch.
Yeah.
No one of those. Just a nice watch. Yeah. Nothing to write home about.
Yeah. So yeah, that is now... That episode, that saga concluded, which is now have... It shows Disney with egg on their face, basically. I can't really say that Marvel are on the outs with this because Disney are the parent company.
Yeah.
So
Marvel just doing what they do,
right?
And it's Disney to
and in fact,
publishing
from what I've heard, Kevin Feige backed Scarlett Johansson in her lawsuit.
Oh, okay.
So Marvel has nothing to do with it. But obviously, if the parent company are telling you have to do this, there's nothing he can do. Do you know what I mean? As high up as he is, there's nothing he can do.
Yeah.
You know? So, yeah, that's the conclusion of the Scarlett Johansson lawsuit. I think we're personally glad that it's ended the way it has, which we knew it was going to.
Is it fair? Did she deserve the money? Is she rich? Or is she just doing it out of principle?
Well, she
either
deserves.
way.
So it's legally binding.
Contract,
as I said, this can happen to the small guy.
Yeah,
then what?
On the small scale, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
You know
so
what I mean?
what do you think of this situation? Do you think it's fair that what she got? And do you think it was right what Disney did? And what do you think of this sort of thing moving forward with companies and studios with COVID-19 and the contracts? Leave us your comments down below, please.